Hey, everybody, Evan Kirstel. Happy Monday. One of my favorite topics, IT ops, AI ops. We're going to dive into it with Cloud Fabrics, a company I'm intrigued to learn about. Shailesh, how are you?
Hey, doing well, Evan. How are you?
I'm good. I would say a lazy summer, but not really. It's been a very busy summer. And as a startup in the Bay Area, I imagine you're pretty busy as well.
We are. Yeah, things and weather is heating up over here. So yeah, we
It
are excited.
is in California and everywhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's dive right in. Cloud Fabrics, what is your mission? And maybe talk a little bit about how AI driven solutions are transforming IT operations, your sweet spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So at heart, we are an AI ops company. It stands for Artificial Intelligence for IT Operation. And our holy grail or vision, if you will, is really to help customers embark on their autonomous journey, right? So that's really the holy grail, but it's really a journey. It's not a destination. And what we are finding is this is coming, the operational aspects are coming to the forefront of every organization. So we started as an AI ops company, quickly realized that, hey, AI is only so much as good as the data at hand. Okay.
Mm.
And we also observed that the operational domains, around, observability is all rage, there is security and there is networking. They're all converging around data. And that was really the genesis of what we are calling robotic data automation fabric platform. So that's the data fabric on which our platform sits. Okay. But in a nutshell, I think I answered your question, right? The mission, and we'll kind of explore that as we go along.
Yeah, so you sort of have a digital intelligence platform, and is it about simplifying? Is it about efficiency? Like, what is the elevator pitch for Cloud Fabrics?
Yeah, so elevator pitch is really being able to look at your IT and business operations. Okay, look at the operational awareness in an organization, look at business awareness in an organization, and provide that holistic organizational
Mm.
awareness to the end user, right? To explain to the end users, whether it is a CXO, level 2, level 3 engineers, that hey, how is my organization doing overall, right? How is it doing on the business aspects, on the fulfillment aspects, right? The whole nine yards.
That is fantastic. So, you have a long career in IT. Tell us, what's the landscape? What are businesses facing in managing their IT operations today? It's quite a challenging environment, distributed work, remote work, security threats, doing more with less staff. I mean, it's kind of a nightmare, is it
Yeah,
not?
it's a perfect kind of chaotic environment, right? So if you look at the progression, right? So we started with monitoring, right? So application
Mm,
performance monitoring was all rage at one point, and it served itself very well when the stack was very much monolithic. Okay,
mm.
as the applications and the stack became a lot more distributed and the cloud operating model started kind of gleaning in, that became insufficient, and the industry and the market moved towards observability, right? And observability really provided insights into how your businesses were operating, how your IT was supporting them, and so on and so forth. However, they were still very domain specific, right? So if you see today in the market, there are various vendors who are doing observability, and it's all rage. So some vendors have come from an application performance monitoring
Mm.
background, and they're trying to leverage AI. Some have come from an monitoring background, and they're trying to leverage AI. But it's really the ability to bring all of this together, and that's where what Gartner calls either applied observability, or what we call AI ops, or the awareness aspect, or what we call domain agnostic AI ops comes into picture. It's really the ability to take all of these feeds, disparate feeds, right, coming out of the great domain specific tools, and being able to make that correlation such that you have the operational awareness, you know exactly what's going on with your supporting operational domains, whether it be observability, security, or networking. Look at your business operation, business domains, right? Hey, it is a CRM system, it is an ERP system, it's an HR system. Glean insights among all of them, and then being able to correlate all of this together. Okay, and that's where AI ops or the domain agnostic AI ops vendors are really accelerating, right?
Interesting.
So, yeah. Does that
So
make
you
sense?
were, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you were doing AI and machine learning before it was cool this year. So, uh, how do you actually use AI ML in the context of, improving IT, automating IT operations? Like, what's the actual approach
Yeah,
for
so
cloud fabrics?
yeah, that's a good question, right? And I came from a deep learning GPU background, right? But it was really applying that same knowledge to a problem which is so proliferant and ubiquitous, right? IT operations, whether it be applications, whether it be IT, and in the simplest form, we are using AI, to be able to correlate across this cross domain,
Mm,
different domains, right? Whether it be application domain, networking domain, and infrastructure domain. And that could be done we do that in a variety of ways, right? So we do that ML based clustering or classification of the events and alerts and so on. We also do time based, we do attribute based, right? But that's part of the correlation engine. Beyond that, we also do predictive analytics, where you are basically able to take all of that metrics information, either from logs or from metrics, and being able to lay that baseline, okay, the dynamic baseline, and then point out what the anomalies are, being able to do forecasting, being able to look at seasonality, leveraging AI/ML algorithms. So that's something which we were already doing. And then Gen AI happened, right?
mm,
And Gen AI just catapulted, so I see this market just taking off because there were two inhibitors to this market. One was the ability to take this data from disparate data sources and being able to transform it, normalize it, enrich it, so that it's actually usable for AI/ML operations. So that was the first inhibitor. And the second inhibitor was, how do you make it really democratize this? How do you make it as easy as possible that even a citizen developer or a citizen admin can do that, right? And we've been, particularly us, obviously other vendors also are trying to do that, but we have been able to do that very effectively. The data part, being able to solve it with the robotic data automation fabric, and the efficiency part or the democratization part, being able to solve with Gen AI. So we just announced, it's been about a couple of months now at Cisco Live timeframe, we announced Macau as our Gen AI assistant. Okay. And I can kind of go in more details on the implementation and so on. But those are the ways we are leveraging AI throughout the stack.
McCall, like the parrot. So I'm going to have a
Yes,
proactive
absolutely.
assistant. Okay, I love it. I love it. And
It's a
you
parrot
talk a
that's
lot.
documented.
You talk a lot about being proactive versus reactive. In the old days of IT operations, you carried a pager around, and when the network is down, that's how you learned about it. So, how do you enable that sort of proactive approach to application reliability and networking and the cloud, et cetera?
Yeah, so obviously there is something what we call auto remediation. So being able to understand what's the root cause of an issue when you do root cause analysis. Hey, has this issue happened before, right? Or now there are also we leverage reinforcement machine learning, where you don't need supervised data, right? So you don't need previous understanding of what's been the history or the historical data to certain extent. Okay, you are able to formulate intelligent outcomes, that hey, this, if I'm seeing this particular issue, it's most likely going to be, this is going to be the root cause. So we have something in the stack called a recommendation engine. Okay,
Mm,
so the recommendation engine, obviously it looks at historical data, it also looks at real-time data, it also does different kind of learning, whether it be reinforcement learning, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and so on. We also leverage other open source, domain specific tools, whether it be, Azure OpenAI, right, or it could be IBM Watson AI, and we combine all of this to formulate auto remediation to certain extent. Okay, If automation is not possible, then we create incident management, right? So we help with the incident management to pinpoint the root cause and being able to resolve that issue in a very effective and the MTTX, what they call mean time to detect, mean time to resolve, right? All
Mm,
of those KPIs we are able to meet effectively to be able to prevent an outage or prevent an security threat and so on.
amazing, amazing. So you also talk about asset intelligence and lifecycle management. How does that relate to cloud fabric? Is that a separate opportunity for your customers, or what are you doing there?
Yeah, so that's again a very good question. That's one of our key differentiators. So you
Mm,
remember I outlined the autonomous operations, right? And it's really it's a journey. It's not a destination. So customers typically start with you start with diagnostic, descriptive. You start with predictive. You start with prescriptive, and then you go to eventually cognitive analytics or cognitive operations, right? So that's typically the journey. But the first step typically is being able to even understand, hey, what are my assets, right? What is out
mm,
there, in my environment, which I'm not even aware of. Are they
wow.
compliant, right? Are there free ports? Are there free capacity, right? So all of this is extremely important, and that is where we position our asset intelligence analytics. So it's also offered as a service, but more importantly, we also leverage the same information for our AI operations as well, right? So because in IT landscape, things change all the time.
Mm,
Right? It's not very static, unlike other environments where AI, leveraging AI in a life science use case or a fintech use case, things are pretty static. But in IT, things are always changing. And what AI does, we have the ability to do almost near real time discovery of your
mm,
IT deployments. Okay, and we do that through a number of ways. We do talking to element manager, and we pride ourselves in saying that it's agentless. That means you don't have to deploy agent at each and every of the endpoints. Okay? But we do that through element managers, we do that through dictionaries, we do that through a number of ways. And we bring that information together and then build up a data model. We call that application dependency mapping. Okay, and that creates the context for the AI ML models to run on, right? So here,
mm,
this is how the environment was before. This was the impact map, right? So all the way from a service to a Kubernetes pod running on a VM, on a ESXi server, all the way up to the physical infrastructure. We create that impact map. Okay, so when there is an problem, we are able to quickly realize, hey, what is impacted and what is impacting. Okay, so that's all information created by the AI asset intelligence analytics. And we leverage that for our AI operations, right? So now that you have a baseline, now let's find out what the anomalies are. But also customers ask us, hey, we want to create these dynamic reports around my environment. Okay. Just tell me what is there, what are my assets, what is my vulnerability exposure, how many of those assets actually have versions which are old enough, okay, how much of licensing is about to expire, right? What can I, right? And we are doing that at an extreme scale. So we have one customer who has about 500,000 assets across
wow.
10 data centers, 800 facilities. It's a healthcare client, right? And they've been a repeat customer, leveraging us for almost last 4 years. We are able
Mm,
to do this very effectively in such a large environment, right? Same thing in a telco world as well, right? So one of the tier one telcos is now using us, and as you probably know, telco space, it's a very complex environment, right? So you have campus, you have data center, right? So there is wireless, there is wired, there is 5G, ORAN, right? There is a mobility side, there's optical side. So these are different domains in an telco environment, and clearly, the data sources pertaining to this are very different. You have SNMP traps, you have syslog, you have GNMI, you have bulk stats. You need a tool or a platform which is able to bring all of these disparate data sources together, normalize that in a way that you're able to do correlation across all of this to convey the health of the overall telco. Right. So that's really where, I mean, a slightly long answer to a question, but
no,
that's
it's intriguing.
key differentiators what we have.
Superb. So you also have a pretty impressive set of partners. Cisco, ServiceNow come to mind. So tell us about those partnerships and how they work and enhance value to, those customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, strategic partnerships is one of the key cornerstones on how we see ourselves growing, right? So clearly, these big guys have seen the value we bring from a technology stack, right? And from an go-to-market perspective, now product-led growth is becoming, at the center stage, right? That hey, this is really a product. Have them use this, do POCs, and so on. So we have clearly major partnerships with Cisco, partly also because of our pedigree, right? So our founding team has been in and out of Cisco several times. This is our fourth startup, right? So
Mm,
the previous three have been coincidentally bought over by Cisco. Okay, but Cisco, I mean, it's a natural partner for us, and they launched the Cisco FSO platform at Cisco Live in June, and we were one of the three partners who developed the first initial applications on top of this platform, right? So it's a very innovative platform. It again goes back to what I was saying earlier. The operational domains are converging around data, right? And think of this platforms evolving as the next snowflake for observability, right?
mhm.
So that's what the FSO platform is, and we have an application. So we clearly are working very closely with Cisco, but there are other partners as well. IBM Consulting is another big partner, right? So this is the consulting arm of IBM, very much dealing with the cutting edge technologies, and we again coexist with some of their tools as well, whether it is Instana and Watson AI Ops and so on and so forth. But we are able to add value because of the things what we talked about, the application discovery part, the asset intelligence analytics discovery part, the robotic data automation fabric, and now our Gen AI capabilities, right? So they complement some of these products. We are also working with clients like Wipro, DXC, right?
Mhm.
WWT. So those are a lot of channel partners. We also work with it's a SaaS product, right? So we clearly are in all the marketplaces, whether it is AWS marketplace, Azure marketplace, right? And the prominent, online marketplaces like G2 and Gartner digital markets and so on.
Wow, impressive to say the least. Well, normally I like to ask you about what the future looks like, but you're already living in the future. You seem to be quite ahead of the curve with Gen AI and AI use cases. But what is next? What do you see as key
Yeah, so
requirements the rest of the year or into next year?
Yeah, so I think it's been a great journey for us, right? So we are a small team, but we are very focused. Have a lot of enterprise background in developing products, which has evolved into big business units, right? $1 billion business units. So we by the way, we just got characterized as the top AI ops vendor by Gigam in Gigam Radar report
Oh, congratulations. Wow.
among 30 odd vendors, big vendors, right? With 30-40 billion dollar market cap. But innovation is our strength, right? So vision, innovation, and execution, right? So our size is our competitive advantage, right? We are able to bring that agility and being able to work very effectively with our partners and customers and so on. What lies in the future? So we are working clearly, working closely on the FSO platform from Cisco. So we see that evolving. We have a number of new solutions which are coming up. So right now we have vSphere observability, but we are also working on a SAP observability solution, which is so again part of the roadmap, which goes on to enterprise applications, right? Being able to provide AI ops and observability for enterprise applications. We're also working on telco, right? So telco has become a kind of an a good vertical for us, right? And then good part is we have customers which today are in healthcare, they are in fintech, they are in MSPs, and right. So the product and the solution itself is multi-tenant, right? So again, we looks like we've been firing on all cylinders, right? From a product innovation perspective, from a marketing perspective, from a go-to-market perspective, from a channel and strategic alliances perspective. So we see this next 9 to 12 months are going to be very crucial. It's going to be all heads down execution. and we're looking forward to this, right? Being in thick of action.
Fantastic. Well, so much success, so much opportunity ahead of you. Hopefully that you're going to get a little bit of rest and relaxation this summer. Any plans? Any travel personally, professionally, or are you just getting ready for the big onslaught from September onwards?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, certainly looking forward to the summer. So my boys are home. So from the UC, so spending time with them. But also, I clearly see a lot of travel on the books. As we build this business, not just in North America but also internationally. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think looking forward to it. Yeah, this has been a phenomenal year for us.
Well, congratulations. What you're doing is truly eye-opening and innovative. And here's to more success. And thanks, everyone. Thank the viewers for watching. Appreciate you and your feedback. Feel free to reach out on Twitter, LinkedIn, elsewhere on any comments or questions.
Thank you, Evan. Thanks for the opportunity. It's been a delightful conversation,
Very
and
fun. Very
we'll
fun.
talk to you more.
We'll be watching. Take care.